Now, this is a classic example of a wolf. Boy, I want to use a really bad word. In a Fox News clothing. This lying rat bitch, Kennedy, I never could stand her. Tonight I was looking to put on Lou Dobbs, and I heard the familiar voice of Rudy engaged with this nitwit, phony little weasel rat witch, disguises herself as, a Republican. She's at best a rhino, but at worst, she's a you-know-what in sheep's clothing. And I want you to watch her face. I don't know who tells this woman she's attractive, but she flaunts herself like she's always wearing sleeveless shirts. It could be 30 degrees below zero. Can I tell you something, ladies? If you've got fat, undefined arms, don't wear sleeveless shirts. It's repulsive. Men don't do it unless they're wearing a guinea tee. Men generally dress in a suit and tie. Look at Rudy. But a woman can go on TV, and I don't know what that is, but I don't want to see it. Okay? If you're a good-looking girl and you take really good care of yourself, that's one thing. But, if you really don't have it, don't flaunt it. And then with the makeup and the rouge and the lipstick, Kennedy here looks like she belongs in a clown show. But I want you to watch the repulsive faces she makes as Rudy takes her apart on her lies, accusing Rudy of lying for having stepped forward, told the truth, and she buys into the lefty narrative about the Russians. Just watch this. It's absolutely unbelievable.
The encryption in the hard drive.
Not all, some.
How?
Yeah, some. Here, for example,
how did you get into? Okay, what kind of experts?
I can't do it. former police and federal officers who do this kind of work. Mm-hmm. I also found just today an entirely new, more money from the Chinese. Another 10.
You notice her rat little squinty eyes in judgment, little Miss Jezebel? This broad knows nothing about anything. And about this particular case, she really is retarded. But watch her arrogance.
$10 million that went into the company that Joe is a 10% partner of. So we're constantly finding new documents. The most extraordinary thing is the amount of money that in this period of time, at least now that we can count, that went to Hunter and Joe. It's somewhere between $35 and $40 million. If you count the money from Iraq, mm-hmm. the money from Ukraine, the money from Russia,
these are some big claims,
China
and
and Kazakhstan.
I know that you have been back and forth between.
See the classic MO of these libtard liberal news media people, and you think she's not one of them because she's on Fox? You see how she cuts him off mid-thought? He's making a salient point, categorically itemizing the amount of millions of dollars that these scumbag, grifter, Irish traveler Bidens took from China, Russia, Ukraine. They were going after Trump for 4 years over everything from talking to Santa Claus to an alleged phone call that they invented. The transcripts released on that phone call, by the way, were nothing like the Democrats alleged. And still, they lie about it. They draw inferences through their own little paranoid, inane brains. Just because they don't like Donald Trump. Because let me tell you, people like this Kennedy broad that work for the deep state, he threatens everything they are to their core. And what they really hate is a private sector, self-determined billionaire, self-reliant, and completely unattached to their filthy prostitutive world. This is the crab box of scumbags. The FBI, Fat Bar, Ray at the FBI, the DOJ, they're all scum. Okay? They learned how to behave RICO-wise by going after the mob. And they think they're going to bullshit Rudy Giuliani, who took down more big mafiosos than all the little girly men in the FBI combined. That was Rudy. So he knows racketeering as soon as he sees it. He can smell it, because that's what he did. You know what little Miss Prissy Face did here? Little Miss Lip Gloss? She plays with herself. That's what she does. And we have to suffer the indignity of listening to these nitwits on television at night, these vapid nitwits. If you locked her in a room, opened the window, and turned the fan on, her goddamn head would whistle. Watch this.
The U.S. and Ukraine for a couple of years now, and one of the meetings you had was with Andrei Derkach, and that was about a year ago. And this is someone who's a Ukrainian lawmaker who's believed to be a Russian asset. He's believed to be an agent working on behalf of Russia. And he's been saying for some time that not only does damaging evidence exist from Hunter Biden's laptop, but he's also been saying there is a second laptop. How does a Ukrainian lawmaker who might be compromised know of a... and this person, by the way, is someone you met with.
I did meet with him and I questioned him, but he had no information directly relevant to Hunter Biden, nor does he have any information about this laptop, nor does he have anything to do with this laptop.
So why is he saying
and
that?
And the constant Democrat... Why is he saying that? Mm-hmm. Because he did have other laptops. I mean, I know of two others that are in the possession of other people. I don't have... This laptop, his main one, but there are whole gaps in this laptop also. There are 4 or 5 months where there's nothing in here. So he must have been using another one.
All right, so
for example,
Hunter Biden allegedly dropped the laptop off in April 2019. I believe that completely. But you only came in possession of this 10 days ago, so they've just been floating around for a year and a half. So how do we know that these laptops, if you have cracked the encryption, how do we know that other people haven't and placed some of this stuff on here, especially the most salacious stuff? And when will you show the evidence to prove that these are unadulterated devices?
I gave it all to the New York Post, and they've done their own separate verification of it with independent experts, and they came to the conclusion that it's his hard drive. There are internal pieces of information here that only he could have, that I know from my investigation. Mm-hmm. We also have his signature, and the gentleman who had it, it was in his constant possession for all that period of time. So there are witnesses that can testify to it. I mean, all of the issues that are brought up are phony issues. This is Hunter Biden's laptop. His voice is on it. His signature is on the receipt. There are things in here that only he could know. And when you look at the photograph section, you're darn right it's his laptop, and it's disgusting, and it includes a large number of underage girls.
All right, well, we can talk about underage girls in just a little bit.
No, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there, little Miss Salacious.
The FBI has had...
Look at her face.
For 9 months, and there's a statement here that he makes to his father.
This retard woman thinks she's going to out-prosecute a prosecutor. You understand the arrogance? The absolute hubris of a vapid, vacuous female like this to take on a guy like this? Hey, listen, I'm a very intelligent, hard-nosed MFer. Okay? Believe me, what I know in history, you're not going to find too many college professors could out-sophist me. But I'm here to tell you, I would never lock horns with a guy like Rudy Giuliani over legalese, but only a broad like this, empty suit, no weight in her ass, would dare, with this type of veracity and venom, challenge him on this issue. It's remarkable.
He admits to his father that he is a danger.
See the eyes? The condescending face? Little Miss Condescentia.
And the FBI has done nothing about it. And the police have done nothing about it. Because they're Biden's. And Biden's can get away with $40 million in bribes.
Are you asserting right now that local and federal law enforcement are allowing young children to be abused?
Okay, so you all just heard the statement. What did Rudy just say? He said that the police constabulary, the FBI, et al., have done nothing about the Bidens. When they saw the Clinton fiasco with a young intern, okay, that's beyond sexual harassment. That was sexual predation of an employee of the White House. And what do you think all these heroic Secret Service agents did? When they talked and later on wrote books about Billy going out in the limo with a blanket, okay, and sneaking out like a little child to get away from Hillary so he could go get his windy employment, right? How many FBI agents have written books about all the crap that they've seen? And I've always said this. I said it to Rush Limbaugh on his radio show one day. You know, I don't want to hear it. Even if it makes me feel good as a conservative. Because I'll tell you what. Why didn't they arrest him? And Rush, of course, well, you can't arrest the president. What? What? Then we have a king. Then we don't have a president. If he doesn't answer to the law, he certainly doesn't answer to us. That beautiful young justice last night, Barrett, when she was sworn in, said she answers to the law, not to a popularity contest, which is democracy. That's why people rule. Demos, the Greek word for people. Ocracy, the people rule. Democracy, the people rule. So we have representative government, or we're supposed to, which means scumbags like Joe here is supposed to answer to us. But go ask any one of these hubris thieves if they feel like they got to answer to you. Governor Cuomo, that nitwit Witten up in Michigan, you think she thinks she answers to the public? How about Bella Pelosi? Do you think that bitch has more on Marie Antoinette than all the tyrants in history? Okay, you got to go to Peter the Great and Vladimir the Impaler to find precedent for these uncircumcisable dirtbags, because there's no end to any of them. And then we got to suffer the indignity of having some lightweight nitwit broad on Fox News.
To protect the Bidens.
I didn't say abused.
Well,
I used their words. Joe Biden says that he is a danger. I'll read it to you.
See, you're shaking her head?
September 3rd, 2018. And it says,
look at the eyes.
Unequivocally, he is a danger to the children. There are 3 other references.
Right.
And then if you look at the pictures, you see 50 pictures.
All right, come on, man.
All right, good. All right, come on, man. See, he's making the point. He's driving home. She asks the question. As soon as he answers it, she cuts him off. Sounds like a Trump debate. See, a bitch like this needs to be grabbed by the scruff of her neck and tooled up. That's what she needs. You see, men get tooled up. There was a time in this country where if you challenged a man's veracity, pretty much called him a liar to his face, somebody died. Or at least got the crap beat out of him. One of the two had to happen. And then we let these little prissies into the debate. And you've heard it a million times. You can't hit a woman. You can't talk like that. Charlie, you don't mean that. Yes, I goddamn do. You want to play in the man's world? You want to take on someone's honor and accuse him in a way without any proof that he's not telling the truth? That's putting the cart before the horse. And men throughout history have died for less. That's what honor is all about. Virtue is telling the truth, living the truth. Honor comes from honesty. When you challenge a man's veracity, you are messing with his soul. I got to tell you a quick story. My biggest account in history of my business. And he was a degenerate. And he had these 2 little prissies like this one. And one of them called me up one day, wanted to know where a trailer load of goods was. And I said, I'm under the impression it's going to be delivered before noon, hopefully by 10 a.m. At 10:15, she calls me up and calls me with her inimitable Boston accent, "You're a goddamn effing liar." The truck broke down. And this woman calls me a liar. Let me tell you what I did. I said, what did you say to me? I said, let me tell you something, sweetie. You could call me anything that rhymes with Chuck. And I'm going to tell you what you won't do. You ever challenge my honor like that again, and I'll turn your face into an ashtray. You understand me? I will be down in your office within a half hour, and you will have a definitive nightmare on your hands. Now, when your boss gets back, you tell him to call me, and I slam down the phone. About 5 minutes later, her partner in crime, known as MJ, called me up. What did you say to her? And I said, let me tell you exactly what I said to her. And you better mark me well, too. You ever challenge me on my honor, and you're going to have the same nightmare I promised her. Okay? Now, you tell the HJIC to call me, the head blank in charge. You figure out what the J stood for. And he called me up and wanted to know what my problem was. And I said, let me tell you, Sammy, there ain't enough filthy money in the world for me to suffer that type of indignant behavior. So let me set you straight. The next time one of your little cows gets out of line with me, I'm going to visit you. So you better straighten them out, because you don't want me doing it. I never had that problem again. And they did understand, because Sam knew me. He knew that I wouldn't draw a breath before I threw him down a flight of stairs and stomped him into the dirt. Because I would have. And it ain't about being Benjamin J. Badass or a tough guy. It's about some things are more important than words and the frivolity of most people's lives. Some men aren't to be trifled with. And most women don't understand this. They've got a whole bar association plowing the road for their evil duplicity. I heard another one going down today. She's bored with her husband. She's going to file for divorce, conveniently as the last kid goes to college. Epidemic. Am I saying the men are not without fault? Hell no. But I'm going to tell you the damage done to our society, our media, our politics by shills like this that never got smacked, that never was physically assaulted the way every guy I knew was. You cross a line with a man from the playground to adulthood, and every man knows what it feels like to get stuck. A shot in the nose. We take them and we give them. You want to see men of honor? Go talk to a pro hockey player. Every damn one of them I know, and I know a lot of them. And they could be goofballs, but let me tell you, they got honor. And they know what line you don't cross. You know what particular athletes don't? Tennis players, baseball players, never get knocked on their ass. You want to die laughing? Watch a professional baseball team get into a fight. Now look, I didn't mean to go into this whole anti-feminazi rant, but somebody's got to say it. This shit is completely out of control, and I'm going to shut up and listen to Guliani.
Here's what we'll do. We will have the people in our news departments verify all of this, because it sounds like there may be something here that is fishy, that is causing Americans, it's giving the pause, and other stuff that might have been completely adulterated over the 18 months. And some could say that you were acting like Christopher Steele, that you were abstracting
Listen to this.
And because...
You gotta be kidding me. I was acting like Christopher Steele?
That's what it sounds like. When you look at the people that...
You better apologize for that. I mean, I've been a United States Attorney, Associate Attorney General, Mayor of New York City, and a member of the bar for 50 years. I've never been accused of anything, and you're accusing me of being Christopher Steele?
I'm accusing you of
That's
acting in a
outrageous that you would do
capacity
that based on
similar
nothing.
to...
Oh, keep lying.
Similar
You
to
were
a
going
crook.
back and forth between
Similar to an obstructor
Ukraine
of justice?
and the
What
United
you are
States.
saying is an outrageous defamation of me, of my reputation. Every single thing is here. And I want you to look at it, and then you apologize to me. Well, you can come to
You see, she just exposed herself like all the left-wingers. If you go to Ukraine looking to find the truth, you're the bad guy. If Donald Trump called the president of the Ukraine, who ran on a platform anti-corruption, and so when Donald Trump called to congratulate him upon his election and asked him if you know of anything that is pertinent to the United States vis-a-vis the corruption in your country, please let us know. He didn't say me, he said us, meaning the country. Because that's who Trump works for, us. And all these left-wing freaks tried to conflate that into wrongdoing because they knew how dirty Biden was. They knew he was in bed and in cahoots with the dirty Ukrainian president prior to the administration. And there is the videotape of Joe Biden demanding they fire a prosecutor who was looking into Burisma, where Hunter happened to be making $180,000 a month. And do you think this little weasel, this little beady-eyed witch, even cares about it? Look at that face. She's pissed off because Rudy got them right by the posterior anatomy. And they can't have it. And so here's a guy who brings forth the evidence, copious evidence, given to him by this computer guy, because little degenerate crack boy Hunter wouldn't pay $85 to reclaim his computer laptop. So the guy turned it over to the New York Post and Rudy Giuliani and the FBI. And the FBI's been sitting on it for 11 months. Do you think little Miss Prissy Kennedy here is going to ask, how come the FBI didn't bring this to the fore? Why didn't the FBI bring it to Fox News? Why didn't the FBI? Oh, because it was salacious. Oh, because it was unverified. Are you kidding me? They spent $200 million going after Trump on false FISA, FOIAs, all lies, all made up, and they knew it came from Hillary Clinton. And where's little Miss Fat-Ass Kennedy here? Think she got mad like I get mad about the injustice of it? Not a word. And that tells you who they work for. This propaganda that comes across the TV networks, even on Fox. I mean, we don't have to bring up MSNBC or CNBC. Look, these people are completely insane. But Fox has turned. Chris Wallace, the little rodent. This is what they are. This is what they are. And I'm going to tell you something. It is paramount to have a free operating a press in a democracy. If you don't have it, you're not a democracy. And these people are truly evil. This woman ought to be a target of every angry patriot in this country. Every one of these rats, they're your enemy. And they are bad enemies because they are Trojan horses. And there's a lot of nitwits in this country that can't read a book. There's a lot of people I mean, they never read a book. They don't know, you know what, from Shinola. And they digest this kind of propaganda. And Fox knows it. And so does MSNBC and CNN. They know how stupid a great majority of the people are. You have devout Marxists. They're not stupid. They have an agenda. Obama is not stupid. He's evil. Joe Biden is stupid and evil. But right now, the way the country is disposed, there's only 5 to 11% of the population that are going to make the big decisions for us. Most people are committed to what they believe. And this little rat, like this one, all she has to do is influence that 5 to 10%. To give you a precedent, Adolf Hitler won the Reichstag as chancellor with 11 percentage points of the vote. And the Nazis got into the Reichstag, the parliament, and they took control of the German government within a matter of months. From a distinct little minority to a supermajority in almost no time. And that's their model. That's the model of Antifa. And while they claim you're a Nazi because you love America and you think that all people ought to have the key to their destiny in their own hands, you're a racist. If you're an entrepreneur, you didn't produce anything, you stole. This is the Marxist handbook. Class envy, class warfare, divide and conquer, pit women, liberal feminazi women attacking everything. They attacked that beautiful Lady Barrett because she stands for righteousness. And she's governed by the law. She's betrothed to the law, not to my opinion or anyone else's politically. She's apolitical. She is perfectly apolitical. I don't mean personally, I mean in the way she carries out her duty. And then you look at this little viper. Keep in mind, of all I've said, that this little wench is a media person. She's not supposed to be sitting in judgment. She's supposed to ask questions and let this man talk. And she's not supposed to tell you what to think. And she's not supposed to tell Rudy what to think. And she's not supposed to say, this is how I feel and I think you're wrong. She's supposed to expose this man for what he is and what he has to say. That's the job of the media. Remember Fox's slogan? We'll report, you decide? No more. Just like CNN. We'll decide and then we'll report. So she's in judgment, and look at her freaking little beady eyes. I got to tell you, Kennedy, I'd like to slap you so hard I'd knock the jello out of your ears.
My office, and you can look at it, and tomorrow night you can apologize to me for saying I'm like Christopher Steele. I told you there are underage girls there. There are. I told you there are documents that show that he's getting 10%. There are. There are documents that show that he's getting half of what Hunter gets. There are. And when they're there, I want you to apologize to me because you just defamed me.
Absolutely.
And that's outrageous because you have no basis for that. I came on your show in good faith to give you evidence that is being withheld from the American people, and I get defamed.
She didn't like your evidence. Don't you get it, Rudy? She wants to go down the road to La La Land. And you are discomforting her by bringing her the truth. Let me quote a great Turkish general under the Ottoman Empire. You come riding into camp with the truth, never take one foot out of the stirrup. You understand? Very profound. This is a Greek paying homage to a Turk. Because you know what, people? I'll take the truth from wherever it comes. And I won't take anything from little rats like this. We need to change the paradigm in the media in this country. They are completely out of control. We have to set new laws and new guidelines. Because what you see here is flat-out slander. Accusatory slander. By the way, that's one of the hallmarks of Satan.
That's outrageous.
All right. Are you still working on behalf of the president?
I think our interview is now over.
I haven't even gotten to the part about Borat or the part about 1994 and the Video Music Awards. That was the last time you and I were on camera. And it's taken this long. And these...
So now she's going to claim... back to mundane land, right? She's going to go back to her inane feminine side. Let me be goofy, silly woman now. Now that I've castigated you, falsely accused you, impugned you on your honor and everything you've stood for as a career prosecutor, mayor, and by the way, man. And now I'm just going to get all goofy with myself. It's like a child. And my Spartan DNA burns. There's a saying, a good child is seldom seen and never heard. We never said that about children in Sparta. We said it about women engaging in politics. If we do the fighting and dying, we do all the saying. Now, the world has changed. We have a lot of good gals that go and fight. And some, unfortunately, die for this country. And I met a lot of great women at West Point, especially. I'm not that much of a Neanderthal. But we need to have standards. You need to abide by the same code that good men have to abide by. And if you can't hack it, pack it. Because there is an arrogance that's completely off the charts today. It is no coincidence that the gender now of most of these nighttime reporters are not men. You want to be equal? Well, play by the same rules or expect the same treatment. Intellectually, emotionally, verbally, and physically. And then I'll pay respect. In the meantime, we are off the rails.